Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, your host for today. Welcome to UniMAP podcast, where we discuss latest research and innovation from the great minds of UniMAP. Let's begin. Joining us today, we have Dr. Izzati Nadzri from the Faculty of Chemical Engineering and Technology. Welcome, Dr. Izzati, to our episode today.
Thank you, Christina.
Okay, before we dive into your amazing research on high entropy alloys, HEAs in short, I hope I'm not butchering the language.
No, it's fine.
Okay, can you tell our listeners a bit about yourself? So we would like to know, who is Izzati and how did you end up in this exciting world of materials engineering?
Thank you. Well, I'm Izzati Nadzri. I'm from Faculty of Chemical Engineering Technology and currently under the Center of Excellence Geopolymer and Green Technology under the group of Electronic Packaging and Thin Film. So my journey into materials engineering started when I did my undergraduates and then can continue onto my PhD journey where I dive into the nitride thin films, where I found it very exciting about how this molecular behavior of materials can behave in a different shape or form. So basically, this HEA has been explored by many, but not so much from Malaysia. So it has been like a pivot point for me to turn around and make people see with what are the exciting potentials that they have.
Okay, so that's very interesting, Dr. Izzati. It's great to hear how your background in chemical engineering led you to materials engineering, especially in entropy alloys, HEA, and thin films.
Yeah.
Right. Next, let us start with the basics first. Okay. High entropy alloys sound pretty cool, but for many of our listeners out there, it might sound like a science fiction term. Okay. Can you explain what high entropy alloys are in simpler terms so that the layman can understand better?
So absolutely. So basically, you can think of high entropy alloy more like a mixture of five different elements or five different metals or more. So think of it as a superhero. All right. So basically, we have this. For example, like previously, we have conventional alloy, which, for example, like steel, that belongs to maybe two or three metals. But now, instead of two, we have five. It's like a group of Avengers trying to save the world of materials to make it a better future of technology.
Okay, I really
Yes.
like that analogy.
Yeah.
It
Superhero
really helps
Avengers,
us
yeah.
understand better. Yeah. So I see. To summarize, HEAs are like this what we call a next level alloy with multiple metals working together equally. So that makes sense now. No wonder they're so strong and versatile. It sounds like their ability to change to handle extreme conditions could be a game changer as well.
Yes, it
It's
is.
good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah.
Right. And we're coming to the next question. So I have a set of acronym here.
Yes.
Okay. Why specifically COCRFEMNNI? It sounds like a mouthful, actually. What makes this combination so special?
Yes, I agree. It's kind of like very difficult to pronounce it at first, but let me just give you a little throwback about this HEA. So, high entropy alloy was first introduced by two distinct professors. One is Brian Cantor and another one is Professor Ye. So, both of them found this combination of materials at the same time. It's like a eureka moment. So, the first combination that they found was COCRFEMNNI, which is what we're talking about. So in a short name, we call it as Cantor alloy, given name from the founder, which is Brian Cantor. So we call it as Cantor alloy. And COCRFEMNI was actually, for CO is cobalt, Cr chromium, manganese, iron, and nickel. So these five materials is like when we combine them together, they're becoming a very powerful material. Just think of it like material shake. You know, when you go to the gym, you need something to, the supplements. So these are the combination of like material shake that you can use to put in a different material.
Okay, so material shake. I understand it. We understand it as a classic recipe.
Yes,
The
classic.
blend of mixture
Yeah.
of different elements to create something stronger and more durable. Okay. So I like the way that you make us visualize this by using analogy. It really helps us understand your research better, and it's very impressive how versatile this alloy is. From aerospace to medical applications, that is truly an amazing discovery. So next, we would like to know, for every research there must be gaps somewhere. Okay, and what are some of the major research gaps in the field of high entropy alloys, particularly in terms of your focus on thin films?
So there are several key gaps that we have in the field of high entropy alloy, especially when we talk about locally, like in Malaysia, particularly. As the pioneer of HEA, one of the research gap is trying to find the team that could work together. And I have to say that I'm very fortunate because we have a lot of support from the faculty, from the center, to develop together the techniques and also the characterization that we want. And also that in order to understand better how this material can be made and also function well in terms of when you do it in a very small scale. So that is a gap that you need to understand, because now we are all talking about small scale industry, right? So how do you want to make sure that your thin film behave better when it's small scale compared to the material that is bigger size?
Okay, so from your explanation there, I can see how collaborations between teams, contributing each of their expertise is very important here, right? So we can see here, scaling down HEAs to thin films comes with its own set of challenges. So it's good to know. It's good to know that you're working with a great
Yeah.
team. Yeah, from UniMAP or external universities as well.
So generally from UniMAP, I have a great team. So we have Prof. Mustafa, we have Associate Professor Dr. Arif, Associate Professor Dr. Dewi. They are still my mentors. Like I look up to them. I always ask them for guidance, like what to do next in terms of like research, collaborations. And then I'm fortunate enough to have collaborators from outside as well, especially in UK, India, and then Korea, and then also UKM. They've been amazing because they really want to push this forward. Because as I said, that we are one of the pioneers in Malaysia of doing the HEAs. So hopefully that everything works out, and then maybe we can make some, groundbreaking findings with this.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, and I noticed that you mentioned you are one of the pioneers in HEA research in Malaysia. So we would like to know, what role does this work play for the local scientific community, and what potential does it have for Malaysia?
So it's a good thing. It's a good question actually, because we have to look forward what's going to happen in 10 to 20 years time, right? When we're talking about youngsters and everything. So basically this HEA will open up more opportunities, because when we talk about alloy, everyone knows alloy. Everyone wants to have something with alloy. Like you drive a car, you need metal with them, but how do you function with it? Like how do you want to utilize it? So with these findings with HEA, it will open up opportunities such as semiconductor, aircraft, our automotive industry, and this will have like a very good effort to to get investors from outside to be in Malaysia to invest in these kind of like applications.
Yeah, that opens up a lot of opportunities
Yeah.
there. You're working on something very big. Okay. It's impressive how your work not only advances material science but also positions Malaysia as a leader in this field. Focusing on this seems like a very strategic move, especially with potential to impact key industries like you said, aerospace and also electronics. It is very exciting to know that this research could open up and attract global collaborations and investments as well. That would be very good for our country. Okay,
Yeah.
Economic growth as well.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we're
hopefully.
aiming
Yeah.
for.
Looking very good right now. Right. Next question that I'm posing to you. So you've been working on bulk samples so far. Now that you're venturing more into thin films, why? We would like to know why the shift from big bulky materials to tiny films. Is it more like shrinking your research down, like you mentioned earlier, smalling down the scale, making the scale smaller?
Okay, interesting question. So, let me put this way, right? Just imagine you want a strength of a lion, but in a body of a cat. Okay, so you want something so strong, but you want something as tiny as a cat. So this is the idea of bulk sample to thin film, because bulk sample is great for big applications. However, we're going through all this like mini scale industrialization. For example, semiconductors, handphones, data storage, everything we talk about is through all these small scales. So we want to utilize this opportunity that we have, since Malaysia is a growing industry kind of economy, right? So the problem with this thin film is that it's not that it's hard to do, and also how to understand the behavior of it. You need all these, you need all these minds to stay together to understand the behavior of it. I think that is one of the issues, because using a thin film means that you need precision, you need higher equipments, and higher equipments means what? Money. And money means that a lot of like contributions from outside. So these are the things that I think that one might think that it's like shrinking down, but it's actually not, because we are going through IR 4.0, right? So we want to revolutionize what we have here. And I think that UniMAP has a good opportunity, since we are one of the main university that involved in electronic industry in Malaysia. Thank
Okay,
you.
that's good to know. So please join UniMAP.
Yes, please join
Please
UniMAP.
join UniMAP and join her research team. Okay, right. I see. So it's about adapting. It's not like scaling down. It's about more to like adapting these powerful materials for much smaller, more precise applications.
yeah.
From what I understand here, it must be very fascinating to study how the behavior changes at such a small
Yeah, it is.
scale.
Yeah. And also challenging as well. It's
That's
very
why you
challenging.
need a good team.
Yes,
yeah. So your team members must be very proud
Hopefully.
to hear
That's why I'm
your
here.
profession today. Okay, right. And next, we often hear about the fun stuff that comes out of labs. Okay, but what's the actual process like when creating these alloys and thin films? How do you even start?
So, when we want to talk about fabricating a material, let's just think about something that you can do at home. For example, like cooking or baking, right? How do you bake? You need certain ingredients and certain temperature, right? What is the time? What is the temperature that's suitable for the cake, for example? So it's quite similar when you're doing science, that you need certain ingredients and certain skill and also the right temperature to do all this material. So basically it's called casting, right? So in our world, as when we're baking, we say that, oh, okay, let's bake. For us, like, let's cast. It's the same
Okay.
thing but different term.
I
Okay.
see.
And then when we want to do like sputtering, it's more like trying to like paint your house. So just imagine like spraying paint on your
Okay.
wall, but instead spraying paint, you're spraying all this metal on the substrate. So it's basically like similar but different term. So that's how we do it. And so this is where the intricate part comes in, where when you have all these materials, you want to understand that what does it do and how can you say that this is a good material compared to a normal one. So this is when we have to collaborate. This is when all the great minds have to come together. This is where the scientists do their work, where we have to like fundamentally see under the microscope how does it behave, and then if you put pressure, how can it how can it withstand pressure? So just think as if like all these metals we put together as a team and we force them to go to boot camp. So see like how can they withstand all these harsh environments?
Sending the
Yes,
materials
sending
to
them
boot
to boot
camp.
camp.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
So it's something like that to make it simpler. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I understand.
Okay.
I could picture you losing track of time while
Yeah.
you in the laboratory. Yeah, okay. So that is a very great comparison actually. Mixing metals
Yeah.
like cooking and sputtering like spraying paints. Yeah, it's very easy for us to visualize it now. Even though the thing is very intricate, very
Yeah, it
complicated.
is, yeah.
Next, now that you've made the alloy or thin film, how do you know it's actually working as expected? How do you actually test it?
So this is when the collaboration takes part, right? So when we talk about materials engineering, the fun part about becoming a materials engineering industry, I mean like being in a materials engineering program, is that materials can go anywhere, right? If you think about it, if you want to make a house, you need to know what material to have. If you want to make a car, you need to know what kind of material is suitable. If you want to make an engine, you need to know what kind of material is suitable for the engine. So basically, materials engineering can just go and diverse in any way that you want. So it's the same thing with HEAs, right? So it can go from hard coatings, aerospace, and even semiconductor. So these are the things that we are collaborating with people from electronics, electrics, mechanical to see how far can it goes. For example, now we're working on something similar to solar panel, and then we're working on the antenna applications, and probably we're working on soldering. So there are like vast opportunities that we can have, and there's a lot of exploration to have. So these are still a work in progress. Like I said, that I'm one of the pioneers of HEA. We are one of the pioneers of HEA in UniMAP, particularly in Malaysia. So there's a lot of gaps to fill in, which means that there's still a lot of opportunities to just explore.
Right. But it shows that this material is very versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
It's very
venture.
flexible.
It's very
I mean, like,
flexible.
the fun part about HEA is that it doesn't have like a specific application. So for example, you say that, oh, Zati, listen, I want to make this superior car. So I said, okay, we can mix them together and then this is your material. And maybe you said that, oh, no, I want something that's like more flexible. All right, we mix this metal together and this is your metal. So it's like we cater to what the industry wants,
Yeah,
which
you
is
make it-
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
make
it's
it sound
always
like
there.
we're playing with clay.
Yes.
That will be so
similar.
fun creating
Yeah.
my own car. I will make it round like the UFO. Right. You make it sound so fun. I myself am interested.
Oh, good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's too late for me. Next, from the sharing, we would like to know, what does the future hold for this HEA in thin film applications? Where do you really think? Where do you see this field is heading?
In terms of like, so we're going to like bulk sample to tin films, right? But the concept of HEA itself is very interesting because it does not just constrain to the Kanto alloy. We have a lot of different types of HEA. We have like refractory, which consists of very extreme temperature, and then we have flexible HEA. So there's a lot of things. So if you want me to pinpoint like one specific application, it's quite hard because like I said that it can just go anywhere that it wants. But I would say that this is the future material for aircraft, aerospace, and also semiconductor for sure. Yeah, because of its possibility to withstand like corrosive environments, at the same time like very high strength. So for example, this is the materials that we have, the conventional one. Maybe the hardness is around 50, right? But now we have the HEA, it could be up to 800. So that is like a
that
big
is
jump.
very-
That's like
that
a
is
big jump. Yeah, that's
yeah.
like a big jump. And just imagine, then you shrinking down. So it could lead up to 1,000. So that's just amazing. That's why now we have a lot of like smartphones that can withstand long hours of of charging, and then you have
Yeah,
this
without
all
exploding.
Yeah, without exploding. Yeah.
Last time, if we charge too
Yeah.
long, it will explode.
Yeah, but I still would suggest like do not charge while you're on your phone, while you're using your phone,
Oh,
because it's
really?
still not healthy. Yes.
It's still not healthy.
No, it's still not healthy. It's
we're
still very
running out.
dangerous. Yeah.
We're moving away from the topic a bit. Why? Why is it not healthy? Any
So-
health implications?
Health implication in terms of like radiation, of course.
Oh
So
my
all the
God.
radiation, obviously radiation.
I always use my phone while charging.
Yeah, so that's very dangerous.
That's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous
Oh,
because
God.
one is radiation.
Okay.
Secondly, is about like just imagine like you using your phone and then you have this constant power. So if overcharged, that's why it can just like explode. So
Instead
that's
of giving me superpowers, it's
Yeah.
gonna cause me brain cancer. instead.
yes.
I have
Unfortunately,
to
yes.
start. Okay, listeners, you have to start. You have to start. You have to stop using your phone while
Yes,
it's charging.
charging. Yes, it's
not
very
gonna do you
dangerous.
any good. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the PSA. Okay, going back to the
Yes.
topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how you explained earlier, what captures me the most is the properties that this material can address. Okay, it's very durable and it can withstand extreme conditions. So the idea of revolutionizing energy storage and conversion is particularly intriguing, very intriguing.
Yeah.
So from this all exciting endeavors that you're on right now, it's no wonder that you're having fun doing your research. I can see that you're having fun
Yeah.
doing your research. So now that we've got this awesome alloys, I'm going to call it awesome alloys, why should students and young people in Malaysia specifically, why should they care about this kind of research? And how can it relate to their everyday lives?
When we talk about youngsters, it's quite sad now because not many of them love science, especially science,
Yeah,
mathematics,
STEM, yeah.
and stamps and technology.
The number
I
is
am-
decreasing.
It is decreasing.
Okay, for the listeners out there, STEM here stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Okay, we call it STEM. Right.
So I think one of the reason is that we make it hard for them to understand why is it happening. Like when we talk like COCR, for you it's a mouthful, but when I explain
Yes.
it's actually not that hard, right? I mean like sophisticated, yes, because the way you want to produce this, the way you want to characterize it, but fundamentally it's just like I said, metal shaker, right? You mix them together and you drink it to get superpower. So I think for the youngsters is that they need to explore more because science is fun, okay? Because you deal every day with science. So the youngsters, I think for the HEA, it's interesting because this is a future for them. We have a lot of opportunities. Like I said, like I cannot stress enough that how lucky we are in Malaysia because we are a growing industry, right? There's a lot of industrialization coming in for our country to grow. So these youngsters will have this kind of opportunity, right? Being engineered, just imagine that how can you transfer from one material to another, how this material can behave in different ways. But unfortunately, these kids cannot see it yet. So I think that that's our job, especially from UniMAP, to go down, to all these like kids to tell them, look, science is fun. It's not that hard. Everything is hard, but science is not that hard. It's just that you need to learn how to love them and how to explore them and do not be afraid to fail. That's all.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I hope our listeners out there, can venture into science more. And do you hear that? You are the future of science. Come join UniMAP. Join
Come
Dr.
join.
Izzati and her team. Okay, it's gonna be fun. Right. So, like we touched about STEM. Okay, you can see the trend now. It's quite decreasing, but in UniMAP, okay, among our students, we would like to know what is the current scene of STEM and how can young students really get involved in this kind of research?
So it's a very great initiative by the UniMAP's team actually, especially when we go to the school, school kids, like primary school kids, just to let them know, like just get them to experience what science is. And I would say that now it's evolving, like it's evolving, like we're not there yet, but we are going towards that direction. And also with these online resources, and so there's a lot of opportunities for them to understand, and this will spark their interest. So everything starts with an interest, right? So you just want them to know that, oh, it's interesting. How can I melt this? That's science. How can I eat this? That's science. Everything is actually science, right? It's not just on your textbook. Your real life is science as well. So basically, in Malaysia, currently, it's growing to a right direction. We have a lot of like science projects that involve kids primary, secondary, and even universities. So we are exposing them to all these STEM so that they know that, science is fun, maths is fun. Like everyone's scared of maths. I'm scared of maths as well. But when you dive into it, you understand that, oh, okay, this is the reason why I need to know these numbers. Or else, like, the bridge cannot withstand on its own. So these are the kind of like ideas and information we want to cultivate in young minds, to tell them that, look, you have a lot of future over here. It's up to you to choose. Okay. And also, like, not just that, because we have a lot of like, resources, like I said before, online, and you can learn online about it. You have all these like social medias. So it's out there. So actually the social media are doing us a big favor. So so hopefully by the end of this year, we have a lot of like students coming in to join our engineering department for this.
We can see that the intake number of students are increasing quite rapidly. And I think it really works. Social media does help a lot in increasing our visibility.
Yes, true.
Because now everyone learns from social media.
True.
It's not a pen and paper era anymore. Even for ourselves, when we want to search for something, we will just open TikTok.
Yes, true.
And we can see a trend where engineers, maybe teachers, they teach in TikTok. They create short videos for the students, and it's really working very well. And it's good to know.
I agree.
That the scene, the STEM scene, is growing. It really helps with the growth of our country.
Yes, true.
Yeah. Okay, very good to know. Okay, so I think before we finish,
Okay,
let's finish off with a fun quick fire round.
all right. Okay, let's do
get
it.
to know you a bit personally. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna
let's
go quite fast.
Okay. Yes.
So first,
Okay.
what's your favorite science experiment or discovery ever?
Oh, that's quite hard. I would say superconductivity. Yes, because it's like you get them into electricity and see how they behave without resistivity. Just imagine like being able to like self-heal yourself suddenly. So it's quite interesting. Yeah. Superconductivity. Yes.
Yeah, you like the word super a lot.
Yes. Oh, superhero.
Okay, so next, since we mentioned super, okay, if you could have a superpower, what could it be? What would it be? Sorry.
Being able to self-heal, because we have a lot of metamaterials now, meaning that they are able to self-heal themselves. So just imagine that if you crack yourself, you can just self-heal yourself. So that would be amazing. Self-healing. Yeah, we have that as well.
Self-healing.
Self-healing
But the
metals.
process itself will be very, very
Intricate, yes.
painful. So you can withstand all the
Yes,
pain.
you can withstand all the pain. Yeah.
Oh.
Self-healing. Yeah.
That's very interesting, because most of us, if we have the choice to have a superpower, I think most of us would choose invisibility.
Well,
Guess-
Christina, you know what they say, with great powers come great responsibility.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
everyone can carry that, unfortunately.
Some of us like to run. We love to run from our problem, and she is not one of them. Okay,
I have no
Right.
choice.
Yeah, she would face in the face of adversity. Okay, she would withstand all superpower. Okay. Next.
Okay.
What's your dream application for HEAs?
I would say space, aerospace,
Aerospace.
because things behave differently in different
see.
environment. That will be amazing. You see how people brought embryo up to like space to see how they behave. I would love to have my material up there just to see how they behave.
You could use Elon Musk on your team.
I would. I would call him.
Yeah,
if
you
I
would
can.
call him. Just reach him on Twitter. Oh, we don't call it Twitter
we call
anymore. We
X
call
now.
it X
now. Yes.
Okay, so good to know. Aerospace, that is another huge area for
Yes.
us to discover.
True.
Okay. What's not the last one?
Mm-hmm.
What is one piece of advice you would give to young Malaysians wanting to get into STEM?
I would say try to get to know them first, right? Don't be afraid. Start exploring. Give a lot of questions. Be curious. It's okay, and don't afraid to fail. Like what my dad always said to me, Zati, if the window is closed, there's always a door. Open the door. So yes, so don't be afraid. Fail is just another way to success. So just don't stop being curious and start exploring. That's all.
So if you can't find a door, you can break the wall.
Yeah. Anyway,
There's a will, there's a way.
Yes, true.
Okay, that is very awesome. And I would like to thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today in a very fun way. It really helps us understand what you're working on
Oh,
and
thank you.
what a great mind of UniMAP is working on. Very interesting. So before we wrap up, before we finish, do you have any last words to our listeners out there?
Well, I would say that science is really like another step forward to the future generation. And also, like, we have a lot of opportunities in Malaysia, specifically in Malaysia. So grab the opportunities and don't stop exploring, because knowledge is always power, right? Knowledge is always power. You can deny that. All right. Thank you.
Knowledge is always power.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful words
Yeah.
from our superhero here. Okay, so I think that's all the time that we have for
Oh,
today.
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and
Thank you
joining
for
us
having me,
today.
Christina.
Okay. So to our listeners out there, till next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.